That word should like again, these are stories we know so well that we just go right through them. If God says, what are you doing here? Chances are you're not where you belong. Right? Like, Adam, where are you? That is like a big signal. Uh-oh, we're not where we should have been. What are you doing here, Elijah? This is not where you belong. This is not what I had planned. This is not where you need to be. Elijah answered. And he spent 40 days and 40 nights practicing, I'm sure of it. He didn't know he was getting asked, but he knew what he was going to say. I have been very jealous for the Lord, the God of hosts. For the people of Israel have forsaken your covenant, thrown down your altars, and killed your prophets with the sword. And I, even I only, am left. And they seek my life to take it away. So God sent an angel to feed Elijah. God had given him rest and then supernatural strength. God was even meeting Elijah in the same place he met Moses. Think of that for a minute. Here's how important Elijah's heart was to God. I'm going to meet you at a place where you'll know you've been met. But Elijah wasn't changing his mind. Elijah had made up his mind he wasn't listening. He was still stuck on the difficulty of his circumstances rather than on the goodness of God. So we're all in different places, but what can you see most clearly right now in your life? What are our hearts and our minds and our gaze set on? What do we think Paul meant when he wrote in Colossians 3:2? Set your minds on things that are above, not on earthly things. What gets the most of our conversation, most of our thoughts, and most of our attention? Is it the trouble that we're having, the trouble that we're in, or the goodness of God that we can see in the middle of our trouble? See, I'm not saying that the threat was no big deal, and I'm not saying that he shouldn't have been bothered by Jezebel not responding to the voice of God. What I am saying is he needed to overpower his discouragement by seeing God's goodness, by seeing God's presence. He needed to talk to himself, preach to himself, prophesy to himself, remind himself, but God is good. Some of us can't hold two things at the same time. Right? Some of us have to put one thing down to pick up something else. We can't see the goodness of God because there's something bad going on in our lives. Or we can't acknowledge that there's something difficult because all we want to see is the goodness of God. Those two things go together. I don't understand the tension, but it's there. David just led us in understanding that tonight. In the birth of Jesus, there was exceeding joy and incredible weeping. Same event, same time. That's tension. And you know tension. We just don't like it. We want God to give us, we want peace to be the absence of tension. Peace is confidence in God's goodness, no matter how tense things get. No matter how tense things are, because things are going to be tense.